running this next panel, and I'll be here tomorrow as well, so stop by and say hi. And we've had so much fun today, so many amazing stories, and I always just love doing this because you get to hear so many great insights into the industry and so many personal stories and great anecdotes. Who saw William Shatner, by the way? Wow. Someone described it as like just listening to him read a book. It was just poetic, and it was legendary to hear him just talk about being in space. But we don't have much time, so I'm going to bring out our next two guests on the show called Smallville. For 10 seasons, you knew them as, yes, Clark and Lois. Let's bring them out right now. Please welcome to the stage Tom Welling and Erica Durance. All right, welcome. Good to see you. I'll take this one, and you can. Yeah. Apparently, Erica's answering all the questions, so yeah. She's come prepared.
Aren't you lucky?
Welcome back, and Tom, we met a couple years ago. Erica, this is your first Vancouver Fan Expo, correct?
Yes, it is. I live here, but this is the first time I've been here, so I'm very excited.
I feel like it was last year I saw you.
I know.
However, because COVID kind of made a year disappear, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Amen, right? No. But yeah, I felt like I saw you not long ago.
That's what COVID did to us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Smallville. We'll talk a little bit about some current projects that you have going as well. I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but if you will indulge the Fan Expo audience here, because we always love hearing about chemistry, how people form those bonds and things like that. So when you were first cast as Clark and Lois, respectively, and we'll get into what big roles, big shoes those were to fill. How did you first?
We're big shoes. I noticed. The first time I saw you on set, I'm like, those are big shoes.
Huge.
She is huge.
Had you worked together or known each other prior to the show? No.
By the way, I had zero input. Thank you very much on her casting.
That's not true.
I had zero. They were like, you need to come back 2 days early to meet this girl that we cast as Lois Lane, and I was like, I'm not coming back early, and they forced me to. And then I met Erica, and I'm like, well, this is gonna be good.
So I went back up there after getting the role, and they're like, we're just gonna do some tests and some pictures and meet Tom, it'll be no big deal. But I didn't know that if you really hated me after meeting me, I wouldn't get the job.
Nobody told me that. No, nobody told me that. No, nobody told me that. They said we're gonna introduce you to someone, and if you hate her, let us know. Nobody told me that.
Yeah, that was the way.
That was in
my head. It was not because they told me that.
But I mean, there's an added pressure to playing Lois and Clark in terms of the iconic status of the couple. Like, how did you approach that differently in terms of a standard love interest or something like that?
Well, if I may.
Please, I thought I was talking
There
about
was less pressure because we were playing these characters before they were established. And I felt that already with Clark because I was playing Clark Kent, hi, my name is Clark Kent, you're in Smallville, as I ripped the door off, and the whole thing in the pilot, is we were establishing in our own version. So the pressure is less in that respect. I mean, the pressure to perform is always there. But, I just felt like Clark was meeting Lois for the first time and had no idea who this very high energy, wonderful person is, and who he couldn't take his eyes off.
That.
Yeah. Who is this?
You won't stop talking ever at all.
And when did things start to click for you two, and you knew that you had some magic there, some chemistry that took you through the 10 seasons?
It was fun.
Was it kind of
when we
slow
had to
burn?
do our scenes, he says, when did it click for us? And I went, when we had to start working.
When they said action?
Action?
And we started acting like we got along?
But I kind of got on this already speeding, very successful machine. I came in season 4, so there was a different...
The train was already...
The train had left the station, and I was just running to catch up, and so I had...
As was Lois.
So it worked out. But yeah, it really did... It took the pressure off, because I kept telling myself that thing, right? He hasn't actually, in any of the other stories, ever met Lois at this point, so I'm good. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and whatever sticks will work or not work. And, the creators were really good about that too. They would talk and go, this is how we want to form it, this is what we want. But, you get a lot of information from the scene that they give you You know what I mean? It's
It was
there's-
well written.
Yeah.
It's an informative written show.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, because, oh, sorry, go ahead.
We just got along. I mean, I would, I was there, and I don't mean like feel sorry for me, but like I was there all the time. And the thing that I loved is working with the different actors throughout the day or throughout the week. And Erica always came in with like so much energy that I just like fed off it. But that also is like what Clark would have done. He would have fed off her energy in that part of the relationship. So it was like meeting where you needed to be for both characters in a way.
Kind of helps establish the character as you're playing it.
I wish I would have said that, yeah.
Do you know what I think also worked really well is that we had similar ways of viewing work. So I, for example, really loved the technical side. I was still quite new, but I wanted to know how everything worked. And I only felt comfortable if I knew exactly what the shot was, what they were gonna do, where they were gonna come from, blah, 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 blah. So like that was going through my head all the time, but you had made yourself very aware of the technical to help you.
Yes.
So we got a lot of
I remember
repartee because you'd be like, wait.
they would come in and they'd be like, we're doing this. And then you would turn your back to everybody and you'd look at me and go, what'd they say? And I said, you're gonna turn around, you're gonna walk over there, turn around, and then on your second line, you're gonna turn around, blah, 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 and you're like, got it. And you would do it.
I just wanted to know, because I couldn't relax at all about the acting at all. See, this is a little bit of, basically, there's your behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's a little Clark and Lois right there for you. By the
He
way,
makes it
where's
very
your
simple.
dad?
Oh yeah, Dad, where are you? Dad is here.
I hope I only see one hand.
My dad and my stepmom are here. Where is he? Is he standing?
He's so
Stand up, Dad.
Where is my dad?
Sir, we wouldn't be here without you. Is that your dad? You sure? There's a lot of lights.
It is dark.
Are you
For sure, Dad.
How about that guy standing up? Is that your
No. Sit down.
I want to expand on the almost blank slate that you brought to the characters, which I love that notion of
Thank
sort
you.
of,
Very
yeah, like
blank.
starting over.
Very
And
blank.
when we go back and look at the on-screen couples that portray these characters. You know, you've got Christopher and Margot, and we've got Dean and Terry, and Henry and Amy. So what, in terms of your...
Amy was on Smallville.
It's true.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I remember being like, God damn, this girl's a really good actress.
I forgot
Next
about
thing you
that.
know, she's working with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was like, I was right.
That's right, catch me if you can.
Right.
So in terms of the legacy that you two brought to it, what stands apart? What's your signature, sort of aspects of the couple that set you apart from the different ones?
I think that's something somebody else should answer
Well,
besides the two
I
of
mean,
us.
probably.
Let
but
me overthink this.
I think it's kind of going back, like we were we were unencumbered by previous.
So you weren't comparing other
No.
couples' performances?
Like, I don't know, like for you, if you had been cast in the Superman movie to be Lois Lane, I'm guessing, not to put words in your mouth, but I am.
Go ahead.
That would be a completely different,
Yeah.
like how do but like for us, when our characters met, we were just like, hi,
Yeah.
let's see what happens. So,
I think you kind of well, it depends on who you are. I know there's a lot of actors that can say, okay, I took from this particular performance before or this one.
which we all do in a
Which
sense.
Right.
Which we do, but I
Subconsciously.
think if you own it too much, like for me, if I were to have tried to emulate somebody too much verbatim, it would have been too hard for me. So it was much better to go, keep it simple, like with Tom, what's my shot? What do I have to do right now? Right? So it's same thing with the creators. What is in my scene? And then, what is in this episode? What are we wanting from these two people? So with all due respect to the mythology, at some point I was like, this is my character doing this thing and this is what's required of me. Because I know for myself, that would have just spun me right out and then I would have been locked in. It would have been able to be fresh or new, and because you can't be anybody else anyway, even if you tried your best.
Even if you try, you can't.
I think that fresh
Hear that,
approach.
kids?
You're that
Yeah,
kid.
that kid.
Be your authentic self.
That's been a theme actually through a couple of these panels. I have to be honest. We've gotten pretty
Yourself.
deep.
Yeah. Be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that shows the legacy of the show. That fresh approach, I think, is really what made it stand apart.
I mean, I think that's what made Smallville stand apart.
Yeah.
I mean, look at I don't know if you guys ever heard of Michael Rosenbaum. He played Lex Luthor, but same thing. I mean, what a daunting task to play that character with Gene Hackman and all these people having gone before you. But the same way was like, well, I'm not them. This is a fresh thing. Who knows? And for Kristen, Lana was very just really not represented at all. And then the way she was represented wasn't really the best. But you can talk to her about that as well.
It was a different time.
Well, I mean, she just, I think the idea that she didn't really have her own trajectory,
right?
That's valid. But it was a story about Clark Kent. I mean, it's called Smallville because it's all about one person, which makes no sense.
Well, you know what I'll say to that is that, for example, people have come up over the years and said, "Oh, your character is so good and Lois is really good," and all those kinds of things. And that's true, but I lucked into a character that was allowed to have a broad spectrum of emotion. And sometimes your job in a show, so Kristen's job when she came in was to serve that specific role, and they kept it very narrow.
So it's
where I could come in, and in one episode I'd be fighting, the next one I could play the femme fatale, the next one I could yell at your character, where she just had to fit that.
Yeah, she block. It's like a football player. Like, this is what you do on this play. You just do this over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
I know she was. Yeah. I wish she was on this panel. Does she live in Vancouver now?
I don't know.
She's in Toronto right now.
We'll Google
Good answer. Because if she was in Vancouver.
Well, we're thinking about
She's
her.
not interested.
They're friends. I didn't talk about
We
the
texted.
time. Where's your dad? She's the subject.
All right, let's give the people the opportunity to ask some questions. So I'll just ask if you can line up in an orderly fashion to one of the two mics there in the aisles. Keep the masks on if you can, because safety first.
Can we keep it short as well, please?
Yeah, keep it to one question if you can.
We will try to keep it short.
Before we get to the questions, Erica, I just want to touch on how you wanted to delve into all facets of the production. Have you dabbled in directing or any other roles like that?
A little bit.
Okay.
And I'm still looking to do more
I
of
think
that.
more than a little bit. You're a legitimate director.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You made
Not a
it.
little bit. You are a director.
No, that's fine. Just interested
That's
in where you
also
took that.
classic us relationship. I'll just kind of avoid it, not really talk about it, and be like, could you just keep it simple?
You're a director. And an actor.
Yeah. So I did that on Saving Hope when I was working on that, and
Awesome.
I very much enjoy it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's take some questions. We'll start over here. Go ahead. You can move the mic over if you want to reposition it there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
He's over there.
Yeah, we apologize if we can't see specifics. It's really dark.
I apologize if I can't see you.
But go ahead.
So, what's one thing, and this is for both of you, what's one thing from your time on Smallville that's kind of carried you over to your future, to your careers now? Like, what have you learned that's kind of been
Don't second guess yourself. Just go for it, because you can always do another one. I actually got that from you.
There you go.
Actually,
wisdom.
no, there was one because I was always thinking it was going to be wrong and it was going to be wrong and I couldn't waste anybody's time. But at the end of the day, you just throw something out there. Obviously, if it's way outside the box, you don't make that choice. But if it's like,
You
just go for it. Follow your gut.
Yeah. On Smallville, you had you were gonna do 3 or 4 takes most likely anyway, because there's so many things that can go wrong that it usually takes 3 or 4 takes anyway. Like even if the actor's perfect every take, the camera's perfect, there's always something. So you have 3 or 4. So it's like, you kind of explore a little bit, you get to have fun, and then you go do a movie and they're like, all right, that's it. And you're like, whoa, I just did 1 take. I thought I'd get 3 more. And they're like, why would you think that? You're not on your TV show anymore.
Just let it go.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
I think when I was on Smallville, and I told this to some people today at the table because I'm coming back to Vancouver and everything, my appreciation for the experience continues to grow because I didn't have it at the time. I was just too busy and too exhausted, and I was just trying to get it done. But over time, I just appreciate it more and more. The relationships, the people we worked with, the fact that we get to be here and talk to you guys, that was not like in my realm at the time. And so I think to appreciate what you're doing, like I see some of these younger kids like who are on like Lois and Clark, and they're so happy, and I was like, God, good for you. I was not fucking happy at all. It was a horrible relationship. I was like busy. I was like tired. Anyway, don't tell anybody that.
Follow your dream, kids.
But it's so like, I think I've learned to appreciate. That's what I take from it. Yeah.
Awesome, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great insight. We're getting some great
Don't
questions.
tell anybody I said that, you guys. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, on this side, go ahead.
I have a fun fact and a question that follows that.
Let's just do the funny fact.
Okay, sure. When I was 4 years old, I was on Smallville as baby Clark Kent.
You and Flash?
No, I was baby Clark Kent. I was 4 years old.
Shut up, you were the kid in the pilot? Did they pay you every time they ran that clip?
No. Pay my parents or something. I don't know.
Dude, look at you!
Yeah. I don't know if we ever actually properly met
Wow.
yet, so we can do it now.
You were so cute back then.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna ask, what was your favorite memories from back then?
My favorite thing was when they took baby Clark out of... That kid was so cute. I remember being like, if I could only be like you. You were awesome, dude. You know what I loved about it is like you weren't like overacting at the time.
Yeah,
You were in the moment.
you know, I had nothing to compare it to, you know.
That's how it works.
There was a
Goes
purity
back
to
your
it.
earlier question.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
So what was Krypton like, by the way? Really?
Hot, I think. You know?
Hot?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Look at how long your hair is. Oh. How old are you now?
23.
I feel
Soon to be 24.
Sounds about right.
feel
No, I'm just so proud of
it
him.
all.
I can't tell, but I think he's dressed as Spider-Man.
I am, yeah.
That's fun.
I'm sorry.
Remember me? Kal-El? Yeah, I'm fucking Spider-Man now. I have a 3-year-old son, he's all about Spider-Man. I don't get it, but I'm not trying to make him like Superman. I'm just saying, like, what's the deal with Spider-Man? What do you like about Spider-Man?
To be honest, I like that this costume is sweatpants.
Maybe my son likes that too, except he's rarely wearing pants, but yeah. That's so funny. Well, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah.
Did you watch the series?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he asked you what your favorite thing on Smallville was.
Well, I said.
Here, oh right. Just
Dad?
All right, thank you so much. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Hold on, I will say real quickly though, the opening sequence for Smallville and that theme song, badass. I had nothing to do with it, but like if somebody plays it right now, ding, 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 somebody, it's awesome. When I don't.
it's good. It's good.
That's my favorite part.
Let's take a question over here. Go ahead.
Oh, he's.
So can I just say that I've been a fan since I was like 8 years old, and when you didn't get casted for Man of Steel, I definitely cried.
Well, here's the quick answer. They would have had to have put Smallville on pause for 2 years, and they were already like $750 million invested in the show, and they weren't going to do that. They weren't going to let me like go do a movie on Superno. But that's the reason. But thank you.
Yeah. Where was your favorite place to film in BC?
I love the Kent Farm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many places, but the Kent Farm did have like we were in Aldergrove and we were in Burnaby. Yeah, I love locations. We had stages in Burnaby.
In the last couple of years, I like when they did the back lot, where they actually built an outside.
Yeah.
They built a street for us outside.
Across from the Tim Hortons. That was convenient.
What about Lexington? Was that your favorite?
No, we hated Lexington. It smelled like shit. Because it was a shit factory.
You'd be like going to the poo factory.
Yeah, and nobody hated it more than Roosevelt. He's like, I'm a supervillain! It smells like shit! Everywhere I go!
I remember he'd be yelling that on his anti-gravity chair while he was waiting to shoot. I hate it here!
Yeah. He hated his life. So did Lex. No, going on. That's the beautiful thing about Vancouver and the shoot here is you have so many locations within 45 minutes. You can be anywhere in the world in 45 minutes. And that's why so many productions work up here. It's really great. But to me, stunt days and location days were the best. Just because they're fun, exciting, and new and
You
fresh.
didn't have to talk too much on those days.
And I didn't have to talk. Right. Good observation. You see
So
all those
remember
days
there was an episode where we had one specifically, I remember, you had to talk a lot and I wasn't allowed to talk, and it was such a challenging scene for us. Because I was like, oh, I don't like sitting and listening and reacting. Drive the scene. And you were like,
I hate talking.
too many words.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Well, thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, we'll take one from over on this side.
Hi. I'm trying to make it as an actor myself. I was just wondering if you had any tips.
Well, you might want to start speaking up.
It's late in the day for him. He's getting tired.
I lost you at actress. Okay. So you're trying to make it an actress and?
And I was wondering if you had any tips.
I could barely hear that.
Tips for aspiring actors.
Get hearing aids, I guess.
Tips for an aspiring actor.
Well, Erica here's the cool thing about Erica. She was in casting, actress, now director, all the same. So I've been through all those processes, but you really work through those processes. So I mean, what would you tell someone coming in? Not to put you on the spot.
Well, I think it has to be something you really, really, really love to keep pursuing it, like really, really interested in it. So for me, I could do my day jobs, but then I would go, okay, how am I going to get in a set? And I'm from Alberta. I have nobody in the business or anything. Like I couldn't use a launching pad as some kind of nepotism or whatever. And so I just said, okay, what's the way to get on a set? And I just went and asked. And they said, be a background player. And so for me, yeah, I think there's a bit of a lottery and you can kind of win it and get into bigger roles that you can use to launch yourself elsewhere. But it was the drive, the love of it that kept me doing those things. So going and doing background all the time and not really caring about whether I was in front of the camera. I just wanted to watch the set and I wanted to watch what everybody was doing. Then I wanted to figure out this. So I was really curious about the whole thing. And then I just had this never-ending desire to keep auditioning. And I don't know if that's just a kind of a masochistic kind of thing, right? Because you have to put yourself into a realistic space that says, you know, you cannot control any of that kind of stuff. You're gonna audition for lots of stuff, and you can't control anything except for that experience, what you did when you went in there at that moment. So if you love acting, you keep pursuing it because you can't not do it, right? But if you're going, okay, this is gonna be my goal, and if I don't get this, I won't like it, then you'll have a tough go. So I tended to be like the person that was really excited to do any little piece of things. And then when I ended up being on Smallville, maybe that's part of the reason I was like super hyper all the time. But my expectations were, wow, okay, now I get to do this today, or now I get to do that today. So everything was really fun for me because I loved it. So I just kept going.
And I agree with all of that. And I would also say, like Sidney Poitier said, know your lines, be on time, know your lines, and hang up your wardrobe.
Oh, that's true.
Those are certain
That's
things.
probably
Like
better.
you really be as prepared as possible so you can let it all go in the moment. But I do agree, it's an unfriendly road. Even if you get successful, you get more no's than yeses, if that's your perspective. But if you can learn from your no's, then not your nose, but your nose. That's, you know, you gotta have a thick skin though. I mean, and it's not easy. It's a gypsy lifestyle for sure, of uncertainty and based on other people's judgment. So, but just be more prepared than anybody else. That's the best armor you can have.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take one over here for Tom and Erica.
Hi, Erica. Hi, Tom. My name is Roberta. And first of all, I would like to say I and my husband, Steven, we love Smallville. And
Where's
you
Steven?
guys.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Hi, Steven.
Yeah. We are kind of fun that we do picnic in front of the Kent farms, you know.
Oh, really?
Really, yeah. And
Was it still smell like cows?
No, any problem. Yeah. And we miss new episodes Smallville, and I wish to know if have any kind of chance of we have this show come back and have episodes about after the wedding.
Well, there's
inside Smallville, you know.
There's a slight version that Michael Rosenbaum and I and the creators of Smallville, Al Miles, are working on. They're going to be writers. Michael and I are going to produce it. But we're working on an animated series that picks up right after our Smallville, and again, telling our own story. And our vision is that we get Erica. It might be tough to get Allison, but well, you know, Kristen.
We have Zoom.
But we have Zoom. But we like even Sam Jones and Lionel Luthor is going to be a big part of that, and John Glover wants to do it. We've already been into this. We've already got animation. We just don't have the stories yet because Al Miles are like busy making like Tim Burton movies and stuff. But as soon as they're done with that, we're going to do this. But I want to be Clark's voice. I want Erica to be Lois's. Like that's going to be the fun of it, and so that'll be good. I really don't think they're like on camera aside from the crossover that we did. I mean, you really want to see Michael Rosenbaum as Lex right now? All right, well, there's a thing called Twitter. Start talking about it.
Yeah.
No, but I think there's a story that Al and Miles are going to tell that's individual and new, and call it a multiverse thing. But let's see where it goes. It'll be fun. So, yeah.
Very exciting. Thank you. All right, we'll take one from over on this side.
First up, hi.
Hi, Spidey.
Yes, another Spider-Man. First up, I have
Were
a
you
question.
also a young Clark?
Okay. No, I wasn't.
Okay, good.
Okay, but so I have two
Is that
things.
Tyler from Superman and Lois? Okay.
So two things, just a question after, but I just want to say thank you. You know, I grew up with my childhood. Like, I had 3 other brothers, you know, and my oldest brother, because my other brothers would always beat on me, and he would
Wait, were both your brothers brothers?
Yes.
All right.
So
Brothers would beat on you, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And when he would babysit us, I remember he would let me stay up late with him and watch Smallville, and I just made a lot of memories with him. So.
And you're like, wow, this is great. We're
Stop
Spider-Man.
beating on me for this hour that we watched Smallville.
It's just coming full circle. So it's like, thank you for.
You're ready to turn around as a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Thank
And a question is, how do you guys feel about like getting the call from CW to be on Crisis?
I loved it. I actually don't know what your experience was. Mine, very briefly, was there had been some talk about me showing up in some of the shows, and I was like, honestly, I was like, it's not the Clark. I just, was like, no. And then when they called me about this crossover thing, and they're like, listen, we know the answer is no, but just read it. And I read it, and I was like, fuck, this is actually pretty cool. Like, if I was ever gonna come back, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it just, I couldn't, I was like, if I was a fan, I am a fan, blah, 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 and then if I do this, then no one's gonna ask me to come back ever again. So that's fine too. And then when Erica got involved, even better. I mean, I think the idea of the multiverse, anything can happen, kind of like in life and whatnot. But I just thought it was great to see a different version of what could have happened, perhaps. I liked it, yeah. And that's not my Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? That was the easiest line I've ever had to say. I mean, I love John Cryer. Like, I was like a big fan of his, like growing up.
I know, I got a little bit.
I got a little nervous, and then he's like, I'm Lex Luthor, and I was like, That was the easiest line I've ever had to say in my life. So that was fun. And then, the way you came out, you're just like, oh, you little dope. Let's go home. And I was like, it was just fun. It was like to see a life outside the life.
Yeah.
It was good perspective, I think. But I don't know how they called you or.
I did what I'm known for, which is sometimes I think people are inside the movie in my head with me. So I was shooting, a movie, and we were doing a camera kind of setup. It was a delayed in between takes, and of course, as a professional, I was checking my text messages. And I don't know where.
Mark, and you're like, yeah, I am on my mark, and they're like, oh, sorry.
You still haven't set up that light, and I was checking it, and then I don't know where I was like, yes, and I was super excited.
Really?
Yeah. And then I realized nobody else knew. Nobody else read that text. I just yelled in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
I
you're
was so
stoked.
excited, and of course did what I did on Smallville a lot. I didn't even read it. I was like, sign me up.
They did a good job.
It's gonna be fun. So
And I
felt
got
very
to see
lucky.
Tyler, which was fun, because he's a good dude. It was fun. But it was cool to like, Clark had my Clark had no idea who these people were, and it was written that way, which I think worked for me, selfishly.
There was part of me
It
that
was
was like,
about
oh,
him.
how are they gonna do
He
this?
didn't know
But I
anybody.
So
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
for
you.
your time and the memories.
Thanks,
Thank
Spidey.
Okay, we'll go to this side
no,
now.
I'll answer faster so that we can.
Go for it.
Sorry, I'm talking.
Sorry, I'm talking
Okay, go,
too
go.
much.
We'll try to get to everyone as
Rapid fire.
we can.
Rapid fire. I'll just say the first thing that comes to mind. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Rapid fire.
I just had a couple of quick questions for both of you. One was, what was your favorite moment on set? And the other was for Tom. I was curious, what method of portrayal was your favorite in terms of Clark Kent? The good boy Clark Kent or the red kryptonite?
Oh, Red Kryptonite was so much fun because it was so different. For sure. Easy. My favorite, I think my
That was
favorite.
just your feelings on Smallville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I was
So
like,
nice to me,
they're
by the
like,
way.
oh, sexy evil Clark. I'm like, well, I got the evil thing down. If he comes off as sexy, so be it. But I was playing more of the evil part, to be honest. And my favorite moment still to this day, like the first thing that comes to mind, is pulling that door off the truck in the pilot. And just saying, you know, I'm Clark Kent, you're in Smallville. That's still my favorite. Because like, it's just so cool. Like I'm like James Bond, Indiana Jones at the same time. And they're like, no, you're Clark Kent. I'm like, no, I'm like Indiana Jones. And like Luke Skywalker. And they're like, no, but you're Clark Kent. I know, but it's like, I had all these other references other than Superman and Clark Kent in my mind, and maybe that's why it worked, because I never thought I was either. If that makes, I was on the hero's journey, if you guys have ever looked into that kind of stuff. And that was fun. And maybe that's why it worked, because Clark didn't know who he was.
And Erica, what was your favorite moment?
I would say like my favorite moments, plural, were whenever there was a lot of technical stuff involved and everybody had to do something at the same time to make it work, whether it was a crane shot or a steady cam, and everybody had to be in part of it. It was like a really long shot.
Don't fuck it up!
I love that. I was so nervous all the time, and it was always me that screwed it up, but I was still so excited. And then I would have to say, like, yeah, those moments that kind of hang there that you remember was when I turned and said I'm Lois Lane. That was cool. I love that moment.
Yeah. There's like a realization to it as an actor, perhaps, of.
It was like super cool,
what
and then
could
you're like,
be.
ah, crap.
Yeah.
Just for a second.
Thank you so much. I really loved you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, on this side, go ahead.
Hi, Erica. Fortunately, I have to wear this to protect myself. I got sucker punched months ago, so.
I'm so sorry. I can't hear anything you're saying. Because there's also lots of talking.
Yeah, just if you can speak up a little bit more with your question.
I just say, nice to see you, David. Erica, you look like Kate Middleton a little bit. That's future queen, maybe.
Thank you.
But the pink color, maybe.
Royalty.
I mean, I'll take that. I wish somebody would say that to me.
So even you're shorter than about a foot and a half, maybe. So my question to both of you is, what you promoting right now? I'm not a Smallville fan. I did see the pilot once. I don't have the cable network, excellent of money. We are still fighting for the more affordable cable network, right? Maybe now we want to Skype and not WB and Walt Disney Channel.
Okay, well, Yeah, so he and he actually, I was going to ask this later, but what do you have on the go right now in terms of a current project? Maybe you could talk about the Lifetime movie.
That's right.
The Girl in the
The
Shed.
Girl in the Shed is coming out February 26th on Lifetime. I'm very honored to have been a part of it.
What is she doing in the shed?
Well,
Tune in.
it's not me.
It's actually quite a harrowing story.
It's a bit of a harrowing story, actually.
About heroin?
Yes.
Dad?
No. It is about. You're gonna feel bad. It's about the kidnapping of Abby Hernandez from 2013.
Okay.
So she was in a shed, and but not in any jokey kind of way. Anyway, let's move past that. The point is, I was.
When do you know when it's
I was
coming out?
rambling. February 26th.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it is a story about
That's
how
soon.
she managed to go through her experience and somehow find a way to connect with her kidnapper in such a manner that he actually let her go back home. And I played her mother in that, so I'm very excited for that. It's not light or comedic or anything like that, but it's a wonderful story.
Wow. Cool. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll take a question over here now. Go ahead.
Hi guys, thanks very much for coming out. I'm a bit older than everyone else, so I didn't grow up with you guys. I was at the tail end of growing up, so I was just starting university once I came in, so this hit real different for me. So that said, as a show that predated the CW shows and predated the CW period, what would you guys take credit for as setting the mark for the future projects that have come up since?
Smallville. Wait, what's the future mark for success?
Like, kind of comparing the current shows that are on right now.
Oh, well, they're all compared to us.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
it's true, like Arrow, Flash. I mean, I know these guys. I know the crews and the people who work on them. Smallville was, I mean, I mean this in a humble way, but like Smallville really came out and set a standard that I think if that's the measure, at least right now, unless I'm completely out of touch, that people were trying to meet as far as success and visual effects and story and character.
And they realized that people really want to see these origin stories, and
Yeah.
so they saw that
Yeah.
it came out, it worked, people loved it. Well, let's do the origin story of this character and this character and this character, and so I think it kind of flowed from there. And then who knows what the next thing is going to be, but that's for sure.
It really established that prequel culture that we know so well now. That's permeated into pop culture.
Yeah.
We've got the 5-minute wrap sign, so unfortunately we're going to have one more question. We'll take it on that side. Before that though, Tom, just quickly, can you talk about Professional? That's one of your latest projects.
Yeah, so we did it, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It was, we finished it like just before COVID, but it's been released in Europe because there's like finance all over Europe and whatnot. But the North American distribution rights have been bought, and hopefully it'll be released here. You can probably find it on the internet here and there, but it was me and Brendan Fraser. We had a great time. There's 10 episodes at least that I know that I was in, which I'm pretty sure that's all they did. And who knows if there'll be more, but then I'm going to Rome in April. I'm gonna go shoot nice to see you too. That was like a scary person. But then I'm gonna do an action movie in Rome in April, and hopefully that'll be out soon after that. So we're up to some stuff. We're trying, things are getting back to some version of a new normal. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we look forward to that. And final question for Tom and Erica over on this side.
Just wanted to say thank you. My ex-girlfriend made me binge watch all 10 seasons.
Are you thinking us or her?
Are you still with her?
She's my wife now.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So you call your wife your ex-girlfriend? That's awesome.
Just keeping it fresh.
This is my ex-girlfriend. Your ex-girlfriend? My wife. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that. I can't wait to call my wife to be like, is my ex-girlfriend there? My ex-fiance? Good one, dog. Did she tell you to say that?
No, she probably embarrasses all you know. But no, thanks for coming back from the beginning of the war when I came home. I didn't watch TV for a long time. And watching your show, I just thank you both for bringing that joy of heroes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for protecting us. This is a real hero. We just pretend to be. Thank you, sir. Is your ex-girlfriend here? Is this the first time he's said that? So does he introduce you that way? That's amazing.
I love that they're front and center too. That's great.
I love it.
All right, people, let's give it up for Tom.
One thing,
Oh,
I just
awesome.
want to say I saw a little fellow in the lineup with a red hat and a white front.
Oh, yeah, over there.
Yeah, he didn't get to
Spider-Man?
ask his question.
Oh, that little dude?
Yeah,
Sitting next to your dad?
yeah.
Okay, we'll let,
Sorry, guys,
we'll let the
it's
little
the
gentleman
kids.
have it.
And then I'm going to be at the table over there, so if people want to come talk
Yeah.
to me, you know.
Okay, go
Go
ahead.
for it.
One last bonus question.
Lois,
Yes.
can you please say I'm an army brat?
Can what?
Can you please say I'm an army brat?
I'm an army brat.
I'm an army brat.
Yeah! Tom Willing, Erica Durance, put your hands together.
Thanks,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.